Dash cams. Do you really need one in your camper van? Well, until recently I had very little interest in dash cams, and then this happened. My beloved Caravaggio was parked innocently at the side of a road in Aberdeen, and someone clipped my wing mirror. In fact, clipped is far too delicate a word to use. Someone totally destroyed my wing mirror and didn't stop, didn't leave a note, and didn't notify the police. I tell you, I had a whole dictionary of words to describe that person, but I'll save you having to endure my foul language. Now, at the time, I was quoted £600 for a new wing mirror, although the eventual cost was closer to £400. But the very first question my insurance company asked was this: is your camper van fitted with a dash cam? Now, I thought that was an interesting question, and they explained that when it came to accidents when you're not with your vehicle, and even when you are with your vehicle, who's to blame isn't always very clear. And even if you know it wasn't your fault, proving that can be an entirely different matter. Now, that's just one reason why dash cams are becoming more popular. Most of the time, they can give a clear and unbiased record of what exactly went on and can show clearly where the blame lies. And that can save an awful lot of hassle, not to mention high blood pressure. So what exactly is a dash cam? Well, it's a camera that's fixed to your dashboard or your windscreen and automatically switches on when you start the vehicle engine. It then continuously records everything that takes place on the road in front of you, and if you've got a rear camera fitted as well, it records everything that goes on behind you too. The footage the camera takes is stored on an internal micro SD card and is usually on a loop system, so it overwrites the oldest footage once the card is full, and only you have access to the footage, and it's easy to share with the police or your insurance company via a computer if need be. And some dash cams, like the one I'm looking at today, can protect your vehicle even when it's parked. It turns on automatically if an impact is detected. Now, how good is that? Now, you can buy a dash cam for 50 quid or 100 quid or so, but here's an important point. When it comes to the practical effectiveness of a dash cam, it's all about the quality of the footage. You need good, clear, crisp footage, for example, to make out registration numbers of other vehicles. And that calls for high quality lenses in the cameras, and high quality lenses can be expensive. Now, you're probably looking at closer to a couple of £100 than 50 quid for a good reliable dash cam with a front and rear camera. But now you can buy dash cams that have 3 cameras. The third one films any movement in the interior of your vehicle, and that's great for taxi drivers, Uber drivers, coach drivers, or in our case, camper van owners, particularly camper vanners who have pets or children in the back. And as a bit of a bonus, I've got another use for that third camera, but more of that later. Okay, after I posted my YouTube video about my busted wing mirror, I had a call from a company called Viofo, one of the largest dashcam manufacturers in the world. Now, to cut a long story short, they told me I really should have had a dashcam fitted. Then I could have identified the vehicle that smashed at my wing mirror. And lo and behold, they very kindly offered to send me one, the top of the range 3-channel A139 Pro. So that's what they did, and here it is, all nicely boxed up and looking very upmarket. The company also sent me a hardwire kit so I could get the whole shebang hardwired into my camper van, so it could provide continuous power and also provide low wattage protection for the engine battery. Now, being a complete doolally when it comes to things electrical, I actually got my local garage to hardwire the cameras into my camper van. I could have simply plugged the cameras into the cigarette lighter plug in the van, but that would have meant driving along with a jungle of wires hanging down the windscreen, and I didn't really fancy that. So if you're going to do a job, you may as well do it as best as you possibly can. Or my garage did. So what do I think of this Viofo A139 Pro dash cam? Now, before I go into specifics, let me say one thing. I always had this notion at the back of my mind that a dash cam was simply another distraction. Just something else to worry about, a toy for boy racers, if you like. Switching it on and off, when do I use it, when do I not use it, and having to buy a library of micro SD cards to record all this useless footage of roads and traffic and byways and highways. Obviously knew very little about dash cams and how they work, but in reality they're simple to use and not a distraction at all. This Viofo A139 switches on when I turn on the vehicle engine and goes off when I turn off the engine. Couldn't be simpler, unless I want to record in parking mode, but more of that later. Now, in between switching on and switching off the dash cam, it records everything that goes on in front of me and behind me. And if I use the third camera, I can also record whatever goes on in the habitation part of the camper van. Or, and I like this, by attaching it to a GoPro suction pad holder, I can use the third camera as a vlogging camera and place it on the windscreen, low in the windscreen, high in the windscreen, or on a side window, whatever I want really, within safety reasons, of course. Okay, you have a choice in how you record the footage the camera films, either by using a time-lapse mode, which records video files captured at specific times to conserve memory and reduce the time it takes to view the video, or my own preference, loop recording. Now, this is a continuous recording, and when the memory card is full, it simply overwrites the older footage and carries on recording ad infinitum. And to make viewing a bit easier and to enable some kind of management, you can break the recording down into smaller files. You can choose between 1, 2, 3, 5 or 10-minute files. And when you upload the SD card into your computer, you'll see the video from the 3 cameras separately. They're clearly marked front, rear and interior. So it's really all very simple. Simple enough for a technical idiot like me to understand and use. And once I arranged my local garage to hardwire the system into the camper van for me, I was ready to go. So what do you get for your dosh? First of all, the main 140-degree forward-facing camera with a rotating lens and a neat little polarising filter to cut down on glare. Now, this main unit has all the control gubbins on it, the ports for the other 2 cameras, and one for a microphone, if you don't fancy the quality of the internal mic. And you can easily slide this unit on and off the bracket that fixes to the windscreen. It slides off to the right, so you need to make sure you leave some space for it to slide out. Incidentally, I've placed mine behind the rear view mirror on the passenger side, and that means I can't actually see it when I'm driving, so I'm not tempted to play around with the controls and the settings when I'm actually driving the vehicle and potentially get nicked for driving with undue care and attention. This front view camera has a state-of-the-art Sony Starvis 2 technology, and Viofo was the first dashcam manufacturer to actually upgrade from the standard Sony Starvis technology. And the new IMX image sensor offers a much wider dynamic range than its predecessor, so there's much less noise and motion blur during normal and even during nighttime recording. And that's important if your video footage ends up as evidence, for example, in a court case, and you have to be able to read a vehicle registration number. And you'll see I've partially blurred this number for legal reasons. This front camera has a resolution of 2K or 2560 by 1440 at 30 frames per second. The rear and internal cameras are a wee bit simpler. They both have rotatable 170 degree lenses and have a full HD resolution at 1920 by 1080, again at 30 frames per second. The internal camera also has 6-element infrared LED lamp that allows the camera to record cabin activity, even in complete darkness, for the protection of both the driver and passengers. And that camera will record in colour during the day and in black and white when the light is low in the passenger compartment, for example at night time. Now, in addition to the 3 cameras, the Viofo box also provides electrostatic stickers for mounting the cameras to the windscreens. These wee stickers just kind of peel off and make it much easier to get the camera into the perfect position on your windscreen. There's also a little plastic accessory thingy to help you squeeze cable in behind the dash or any upholstery. It's good to hide the wires as much as possible. There's a power supply cable for plugging into your cigarette lighter port, USB Type-C cable, the polarised filter, an adapter for the micro SD card, although you have to pay extra for the card itself, and the user manual, which is actually very helpful. You also get enough cabling to fit the rear view camera. But if you want to hardwire the whole shebang into your vehicle, you'll need a separate HK3C hardwire kit, and that'll set you back an extra 15 quid or so. Okay, before I talk about the parking mode, let me mention something else that you can buy for an extra 20 quid or so. A Bluetooth control. Now, you press this remote wireless button when there's an incident. For example, if somebody hits you, or you have to brake suddenly and someone maybe runs into the back of you. If you immediately hit this button, and it's best placed somewhere pretty close at hand, it saves the movie and avoids over recording if the card is full. When an incident occurs and you hit the button, a video sequence starting 15 seconds before the event and finishing 30 seconds after the event will be saved permanently. Of course, you can still save the movie file without the remote control by pressing the appropriate button on the dash cam itself. You really need to hardwire the system into your vehicle before you can use the parking mode. And you can set this so that when you turn off the ignition, the system immediately goes into parking mode. Or if you'd rather, you can set it so it comes on 90 seconds after you switch off the vehicle engine. Parking mode has 3 options: auto event detection, and this occurs when a moving object is detected close to the vehicle when it's parked. The video starts recording and it'll stop when there are no more new movements detected. The second option is time-lapse recording. When parking mode comes on, time-lapse records a video at low frames, either 1, 2, 3, 5 or 10 frames per second. And this will be a continuous video recording, but will use up very little battery power. The third option is low bitrate recording, and this mode records in low bitrate for front, rear and interior cameras. Now, it records continuously in many file sizes with audio recording as well. The mode that's interested me most of all was the parking G sensor. This detects sudden or significant impact or collision and will trigger a video recording. Now, when my wing mirror was hit, for example, it would have triggered the G sensor. The video would have run and I would have had video footage of the culprit making his or her escape, including, thanks to the sensitivity of the Sony Starvis 2 technology, a clear registration number. I could have caught the bugger. Finally, I can hear the more observant of you thinking, how can you see what's going on? There's no screen on the dash cam. And you know, you'd be absolutely correct. There's no screen on any of the cameras for that matter. Although a very nice female voice clearly speaks to you and tells you about any setting changes or memory card errors, allowing you to stay fully focused on your driving. To see the three screens, the front, the rear and the inside, and to configure the various settings for the cameras, you have to download the Viofo app to your smartphone and then connect it to the Dashcam via Wi-Fi. Once you've done that, and it's really very, very simple to do, you'll have access to all the settings and all three screens, either all together or individually. The recorded video tracks can be viewed either through the app or on your computer through the micro SD card that you insert into the appropriate supplied adapter. And that brings me to the one and only problem I had with this particular dash cam. My only real gripe. I use a Mac and I use Final Cut Pro to edit my videos. But when I downloaded the Viofo recorded footage to my computer, it was very jerky, unusable in fact. And it was even worse when I transferred it onto Final Cut Pro. However, a quick email to Viofo's support team, and within a few hours they fixed it for me. Dead easy. It's apparently a codec issue. The codec on the main camera is H.264, which is fine for PCs, but Macs need H.265. And how to change it? Merely stop recording by short pressing the record button and then long press the microphone button. Hold it for a few seconds and then the recording will start again, this time using the codec H.265. Alternatively, I could have downloaded the footage using VLC Media Player, which appears to have the correct codec built into it. Now, I'll put a link down below. Viofo also promised me they'll update our firmware to fix this issue in the very near future. So I'll hold them to that. So there you have it, the Viofo A139 Pro 3-channel dash cam, and I'm pretty chuffed with it. Whether I'll use the third camera for vlogging in favour of my old GoPro is yet to be decided. I guess I'll have to play around with both cameras just a wee bit longer to make some video and some audio comparisons. But as far as the dash cam element is concerned, I'm absolutely delighted with it. The 3-channel dash cam and all the extras, with the exception of the hardwire kit, the SD card and the Wi-Fi button, will set you back about 250 quid. It's a lot of money, I know, but you're getting 3 cameras with high-grade Sony lenses, 4K Wi-Fi and GPS capability, and complete versatility. Now, I've only had one little glitch, and that was with the codec, but the issue was resolved almost immediately thanks to Viofo's excellent support team. So if you're in the market for a dash cam, then I can heartily recommend this Viofo A139 Pro 3-channel model, and I'm going to feel much more assured when I leave my Caravaggio in the street or in a public car park for any length of time in the future. And if someone should do something stupid on the road around me, then I'll have the evidence to prove it. And that gives me a lot of peace of mind. Now, there's been a lot of information thrown at you in this video, so I'll put all the details in the dashcam or about the dashcam down below. And if you found this video useful, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel, it really helps a lot. And hit that little notification button so we can let you know when the next video is uploaded. Now finally, can I wish each and every one of you a very happy and relaxed Christmas. And warmest wishes for health, wealth and the finest of mindfulness in 2023. Enjoy your campervan and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.